morning. It's Monday, August 17th, 2020. And today would have been my father's 89th birthday. So happy birthday, Pop, David Deschler Watson. He's been gone about 12 years, but he loved the color yellow, so I wore yellow in Daddy's honor today. So,
very good.
Welcome to Savannah Community Headlines Live. It's a weekly water cooler type of gathering we created at the beginning of the pandemic as a way to stay connected. So everybody hosting today's show, let's see, we've got Jessica Belfry Restore. We have Ken Weisner. His title is Chief Play Maker. This should be interesting. I want to learn more about that. So, and we've got Jen Bowles. She is traveling. She is a travel blogger, and she started off in Savannah, and she's halfway across the United States right now, traveling with her family. And she's
right.
Yeah. And Kenneth and Teresa Martin, both are amazing artists. I actually own one of Kenneth's paintings.
Good morning.
Good morning. And we have Marianne Ganem Papel. Everybody knows Marianne. Marketing. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How was y'all's weekend?
Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I traveled 1,300 miles this weekend, so.
Wow.
And how old are your twins, Jen?
They are 7. And yeah. So we stopped along the way, of course, but yeah, I'm glad it's Monday for once in my life.
So they actually started school today. And where are you're in what state?
So we're in Montana, in Bozeman, Montana, at a rental. And so I've got my little desk set up here, and I've got one child Zooming in another room, and then the other one has a Zoom after this call. So it'll be a busy morning. What's
so amazing about your travel blog is that Jen encourages families, and especially families with young kids, to travel. I mean, they have been all over the world. It's just been so fascinating watching you start this business and actually practice what you preach, even despite COVID. You're getting around. Yeah, I mean, we're not domestic travelers typically. We love to go to visit other cultures and places, get on airplanes. But this is what we have right now, so we're making the most of it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. My brother lives in Helena, Montana.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so when I was younger, we were quite the domestic travelers my dad had this kind of Grapes of Wrath looking, funny looking RV that we pulled around all over the country. But Montana's fantastic. And the Glacier National Park up there is amazing.
I know. We're actually not going there because we're going to go back. When we can fly again and we can go to Canada, we're going to do Banff and Glacier together. And so we opted to go south to see the national parks. We saw some of Yellowstone yesterday. We're going to go again next weekend. And then we're going to stay in Wyoming for next school work week. And then the week after that, we're going to go to the national parks in Utah and Arizona, and then travel back across the southern part of the United States. So
cool. When I was 18, I took a train I came out here. I was only supposed to stay for the summer. I grew up in Northern California. I was only supposed to stay here for the summer of 1987, and I ended up staying for a year and a half. And when I went home, I took a train from Savannah all the way across to California, and we went up and kind of over and down. And the trip from Colorado west was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my whole entire life. It's absolutely amazing.
Jen, what is the best tip that you can give young families with young kids with traveling?
Just to go. You really do figure it out. Because if you don't do it, everyone's like, oh, I'll wait till they're older, I'll wait till this, I'll wait till that. Well, COVID is a perfect example of why not to wait, because you don't know what the future holds. And no one could have ever, this whole situation has blown my mind. I actually sell travel too. I don't just blog about it. I do both. And so and actually Mary Ann, who's on the call today, was one of my clients that I had to cancel all of her trips. She was going to Europe this summer. And so, this kind of blew my mind, as it did everybody's. But yeah, if you wait for that trip, it might not happen because you just don't know. So, people worry about traveling with babies. You're going to be tired whether you're at home or if you're, in a different time zone. It doesn't really matter. You're still going to be tired. And so you just figure it out. And I'd rather be tired sipping on cappuccinos in Italy than, in my bedroom, I'm watching the Today Show. So that's just me. But
That's awesome.
Here, I totally agree. And tell me again how old your twins are.
7. So today's the first day of first grade.
So how much education they have had to this point? I mean, what are some of the places that you've taken your twins?
So the first place they went when they were 22 months old, we took them to Italy and to Greece. And so it was so cute because all the Italians were like, they loved seeing them, and the word for twins is gemelli. So it was just gemelli all over the place, and everyone's touching them and like rubbing their heads. And, I just find Mediterranean countries are so family friendly. And so everyone was just so loved. Like the waitresses and the waiters would just like, oh, no, we've got it. We'll clean up under your chair. And, oh, if they're upset, let me show you the kitchen. And, they were just so loving towards them. And so, you had all these grandmother and grandfather types doting on your kids while you're traveling. Don't get me wrong, it's tiring, it's exhausting, but I have such fond memories of that. And even though they don't remember that, they watch the videos and they think they remember that. And we're like, remember when we were in Venice and we were playing with that dog, and that's Piazza? And I'm like, yeah, I remember that.
One way to learn geography for sure. I mean, I remember attending all those geography classes, but not until I started traveling did I really start connecting the dots.
And they're so inquisitive now too. They ask so many questions about the places that we go, and they start wrapping their mind around. And actually, where we're staying right now, there's a map of the United States, and it's perfect because we're traveling across the United States, so we're able to show them, this is where we've been, this is where we're going, this is where we live, this is the Atlantic Ocean, we're closer to the Pacific Ocean now. All of those things that starts to click when you actually experience it.
Best education ever.
Jen, did y'all travel in a car or did y'all rent like an RV or something?
Well, we looked into the RV thing, but really at the end of the day, it was about the same price just to take our van and rent along the way. And hotels, I feel like we can move faster too, because when you've got the RV, we used to have a camper. And so it's a lot of work to set it up and all of that. But also the Wi-Fi issue, because my husband's working, several days a week while we're gone. And then because we're gone for 30 days right now. And so my kids' school also, we needed Wi-Fi to be able to complete all the assignments. So we were gone last week, so they didn't have school that week, but we've got 3 weeks of school and 4 weeks of work to do while we're gone. So we just needed good Wi-Fi. So we ended up just doing this route, which is more comfortable really at the end of the day.
Gosh, do you have a group of like a support group for parents that could learn from you? I mean, I know you got your blog, but I mean,
right.
So inspirational. I mean,
well, thank you. I actually have a group on my Facebook. I have a group on my Facebook called Wanderlust Wednesdays, because I used to do like lessons with the kids on Wednesday, and it's kind of fallen off track. So I really probably could use it for that purpose, because we stopped doing the lessons at the end of the last virtual school year. So I've been trying to figure out how to rebrand that group. So maybe that's my answer.
Yeah, I love the way you use the word inquisitive. When I was in college, one of my professors had a baby, and he wrote a poem called "The Inquisitive Squirt." And I always keep that in my mind. Inquisitive Squirt. That's what he called it.
Jen,
he was quite an interesting character.
Jen, we did almost the exact same thing that you're doing. We did it in June, right when school got out.
Oh, awesome.
My husband ended up getting, he was getting a new vehicle anyway. So my husband had to stay home to work, but we took his vehicle, which he only had for 2 days. And we took it, we were gone for 30 days. We hit 20 states. Osman was one of them.
Oh, awesome.
And then in Nevada, on the way back, we totaled out his vehicle.
Oh,
Brand new vehicle.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody okay?
Yeah, everybody was fine. We duct taped the car, literally duct taped it back together, and drove home.
Oh my
gosh.
But it was something that we'll never forget. And it happened just outside of Vegas. And so we ended up getting to stay in Vegas for 2 days. And my kids had not been to Vegas. And neither had my husband. And my husband flew out to join us at that time. And so we got to, and Vegas had just opened 2 days prior to us getting there. And so it was empty. We had the whole strip to ourselves. It was amazing.
Wow. So how old are your kids?
I have a 19-year-old. He's in college. He's a junior in college. And then I have a 12-year-old.
So yeah, well, at least they can entertain themselves a little bit easier than the 7-year-olds.
For sure.
I'm lucky that they're the same age and they're the same gender, because I feel like they're identical. So they have a lot of the same interests. So they're able to entertain each other. Not that they don't want us to participate, because they're always like, draw with us, do Legos with us. But when we can't, they do have each other.
So,
well, and they'll remember all that stuff. Like, they'll have that one standout trip. I'll be interested to follow your blog and find out more about how they, with school and Zooming and doing all that, and how all that works. Because you're kind of living I was raised by some hippies. My parents were closet hippies. And so they were very go do see and everything else. And, they went through their hippie stage when I was in high school and elementary school. And so, but yeah, I'll be interested to read about all that, because I'm curious to see, like, so many people now with COVID are at home with online school and then entertaining the idea. Like, I'm stuck here and I want to go to California and we're contemplating driving, but I'm sitting here going, how are we going to do that with online school? So,
right.
Here's a message for Mary Ann. Tell her to take her boys on a cross-country trip and video.
I don't know that people can handle that. All those boys. I have the most social boys. They think everybody's family or friends. They talk to everybody. It's fun. It would be interesting.
Oh, and then you capture it forever. You have it. So when they get older, they can look back on it. I mean, gosh, that would be so cool.
We've talked about it. I mean, I would love to go cross country, but and maybe we should, Jen. I'll talk to you.
Okay.
Amazing to work with, I will tell you. Yeah, she planned our dream vacation that got canceled, but we're gonna do it next year or the year after.
Oh heck yeah! Oh heck yeah! In the meantime, we can all. There's a lot of women business owners on here. We've got Jess with SCORE talking about this Saturday, the upcoming speed mentoring for women.
Yes, this is a women's only total girl club. Come and be a part of it. It's on Saturday. It starts at 8:30 in the morning. We encourage everyone to sign on about 8:15. You can pre-register for it, which we do encourage. The cost is $30. If you're listening and you want to register today, you can use the code GIRLBOSS, all caps all together, GIRLBOSS, in order to get a $10 discount. And we're going to be covering everything about women in business and what we've been going through since this pandemic hit. So kind of re-engaging, re-energizing, refocusing, and looking at what our new normal is for operating our businesses. And I think a lot of women, we're homeschool moms now. We have to run our businesses. We've got our employees to worry about. All these different things that, when we first wrote out our business plans, we didn't anticipate a lot of this. And so we've got 10 different women leaders among the community that are going to be sharing their tips and tricks, everything from finance and funding, all the way over to like a legal 411 session where we're going to be talking about W-2 employees versus 1099 employees and the pros and cons. Looking at your business structure. If you're currently an LLC, when's the time to go to a corporation? We're also going to be talking about optimizing your search engine optimization. We're going to be talking about marketing and how to target your clients digitally through this whole new kind of phase of life. So it's going to be a really great event. It's 2.5 hours long. It's going to be awesome.
Well, I just, of course, love what SCORE does. SCORE is really helping every single small business owner across the United States right now. And if you're not a SCORE, if you're not being mentored by SCORE, please reach out to them, because they have access to a lot of information. And the stats show that if you do have a mentor, you're going to make more money. So reach out to them and definitely connect with this great program, Speed Mentoring. I know we did it about 5-7 years ago.
We would have loved to have it in person. And originally the whole event was designed in person. And then obviously that we can't do that. So when we went to go and look at like how to set up the whole Zoom thing and make it very interactive so that people can bring their questions, we had like this whole layout done. And then we invited another SCORE mentor from New York who's very, very successful, and she has a lot of successful clients. We invited her onto our planning call, and she basically said, yeah, I don't like it. And so we went to the drawing board, went back to the drawing board, and changed up a few things to make it more interactive, to give everyone, we limited the capacity to just 80 registrants so that everybody can have a voice. We introduced breakout rooms so that, you can go into the different breakout room that, really pertains to you and the areas that you want help in. And so it's been a labor of love, and we're very, very excited for it this Saturday.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Jen, for volunteering with SCORE, and thank you, SCORE, for everything you do. They are really part of getting our country back on the right track, especially with COVID. So Mary Ann, you own your own business. Tell us about your business and how long you've been in business.
So I have two businesses. My first business is Savannah Master Calendar, and we help, we orchestrate like the big calendar for the city, basically. Savannah traditionally has been a very event-driven city before COVID. So it was one place for nonprofits and community organizers to list their events, to really help with, people weren't planning on the same day, or fundraising their big events on the same day. So to kind of just help with conflicts. Also, there's several other resources on there. We've got a blog. We have some new things coming this year, which I'm excited about. And then last year, I started Good Cause Marketing with my business partner, Kendra Demora. And it's a marketing firm. It's marketing with purpose. So we help for-profits kind of join with nonprofits. We will help them with all of their marketing needs. We just ask that they have some kind of community tie-in or nonprofit tie-in. That's kind of what Savannah Master Calendar was founded on, helping those nonprofits. And it's something that I hold near and dear to my heart. And I just feel like, you'll get more out of life in general if you're helping others. So it kind of helps us to encourage for-profit people or for-profit businesses to really partner with those that are in need in our community. And we are really excited this week. Actually, today we're launching Purposefully Me. Good Cause Marketing teamed up with Shot by Somi photographers and Alien Works videographers. And it's all about different community leaders that live their life with purpose. And so there'll be videos and photos coming out on social media for the next 2 weeks. And I'm just really excited. I hope that it brings some positive to our community.
It already has, for sure. Absolutely. And Savannah is so cause driven. The Savannah business community, absolutely. They know. That's why we have such a great community, because we have so many great volunteers.
It is. And I think, success is collaboration and giving back and doing good. And so many people do it naturally in Savannah. And I know, I was born and raised in Savannah, grew up in a family business, and it's just what you did. You just give back. And I think most people probably don't think of that as marketing. It's what we do because we're good people. And I think there is a way to shine the light on that without tooting your own horn or saying, I do this, or doing it because of business. You still do it because you want to do it. But I think any given day, like, you have to be a successful business in order to be able to give back. So I think it's just tying it all in a kind of a classy way, without being a bragger, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Absolutely. Gosh. So, Marianne, you know Ken Weisner? Have you guys met before?
I don't know if we've officially met.
So I met Ken Weisner with the Hilton Head Chamber, and he directs the Zoom calls, and he has so much fun with them. How do you explain what you do? You're chief fun maker.
I would say in that particular case, I am like an air traffic controller. So just like what you're doing right now, you're making sure everybody gets a chance to talk. But the whole idea on the Zoom calls is to try to do some connection before content, like we're doing here, and getting to know each other. A lot of people are like, one of my favorite things on Zoom is, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? So just trying to have, thank you, whoever took that picture. So just, basically just trying to have some fun. I've had to pivot my business very quickly. My business is called Beach Play Company. The whole idea was to start off with was team building for businesses and for sports teams. And I found a really cool little niche working with families that rent houses on vacation. And so I created a beach Olympic type experience for them. So when they come here with all their family members and they come to the beach, they have something fun to do and creating memories. And the whole idea there is they're already going to be here. So let's just jack it up and make sure they never forget their vacation on Hilton Head. But I've kind of pivoted my business. I decided that instead of using the word team building, I used the word portable adventure. And the dictionary explanation for adventure is exploration of unknown territory. So the whole idea when we do these team building things is to connect people using games and play, to open minds, to stimulate thinking, to encourage communication, and most importantly, to have fun. So I've had to be able to go online. And the chambers, both chambers, the Bluffton Chamber and the Hilton Head Chamber, have been so nice to let me, basically air traffic control their calls. It's been a lot of fun. I am starting to see a little bit of more business back on the beach. The beach is a wonderful place to do team building, to take people out and to kind of learn about themselves and learn about how they think about themselves and how they think within their group of people. How many of y'all have done a team building?
Yeah, but it's all been, like at a park or something. But Ken, you do it so well virtually. I mean, you really did. That was that was really, really fun. I guess it was about 2 weeks ago, right?
Well, I've gotten better, I want to tell you right now, because
Was that the first one you did?
The whole idea of team building is experiential learning. You experience through your learning, right? So the first time I did this call, I'm pacing around my apartment. Oh man, because I usually I have a lot of energy. And so every time I've gotten a little bit better. I'll just give you, one thing is kind of fun. So everybody do this. So we all have to wear masks, right? All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to put your hand over the camera and then do your biggest smile when I say 3. So put your hand over your camera.
All right.
And now do your biggest smile. 1, 2, 3, drop it. So that's the smile that you're looking for through. But how do you like things like this, or how do you smile through your mask?
With your eyes.
Your eyes.
Right. And still you still smile at people if you're, I'm sure every single person here is a smiling.
I'm a smiler, yeah.
I can do that. And so, you're smiling through your mask and you see it through different people. So, I've enjoyed this very much. I've been able to, once this thing happened, I was actually in the middle of a team building with a company called IJGA, which is International Junior Golf Association, which works with kids, which is like my favorite thing, working with kids and helping them become leaders, right? We come to find out that they're shutting down for good and COVID's coming. I'm driving home and I go, oh Lord, what am I going to do? And it took about a week for me to start to get online And the coolest thing about being online, just like right now, is that I was able to connect with some of the best facilitators in the world. And of course, when you tell them you live in Hilton Head, it opens up some doors. But being able to, everyone's had to do the same thing. So one of the other things I always say to people is give each other grace, because this is not easy. You know, this is a whole different platform where we're all new at it, even with our children, with our, as you as teachers, moms with teachers. So give each other grace. You know, it just, to me, the whole idea is to get people to think about how they think about themselves through this experience, how they connect with other people, and actually be grateful and thankful for the people who they work for. So, you know, you can have a productive team.
Yeah, I really think you need to meet Mary Ann. They do.
Hi, Mary.
Hi.
I know there's a lot of synergy there.
So really quick too, and Jen, like I'll go back to the family thing, is that I live in South Beach and Sea Pines, tough life, and I ride my bike up the beach near the Salty Dog. So I ride my bike up and down the beach, and I see all these people, and all they're doing is playing with their phones, right? And it's beautiful. There's dolphins jumping, and there's birds flying, and I'm like, wow. So I created this opportunity for like, hey guys, when you come on vacation, at least for a couple hours, let me take care of it. And of course, you know, a lot of you ladies probably too are the planners. And what I can do is I can take some of that stress off the planner for that little bit of time. I do videos, I do pictures. We can do it catered, you know, whatever you want to be able to enjoy that time at the beach. And most of the time I have these families, this year I've had 3 returners. And I've had a tough time this year because it's, you know, people are COVID and they're nervous, but I've had 3 returning families. They invite me in, you know, have dinner. I take the kids fishing, teach them whatever I can, just so they have a great time at Hilton Head. But thank you. And I want to say thank you, Marjorie, for inviting me. One of the other thing I'll teach you guys too, in sign language, this is applause. It also is Zoom applause. So let's give Marjorie a big hand of applause. Thank you.
Ken, are you from Hilton Head, or did you move there and start this?
I am originally from South Jersey, so I'm a Philly guy. I went to Francis Marion College in Florence, South Carolina. I won't tell you what year. I found out that my name was Ken Wisner, and I was a Yankee. I came here almost 37 years ago in Hilton Head. I started beach play 3 years ago, but I had worked for outside Hilton Head about 20 years ago. And, you know, people ask me, well, how did you get involved in this? I was a participant in a team building. And if anybody's ever done the wall where you have to climb over with everybody, you stand in front of that wall and you tell them what your fears are. And that was it for me. I'm like, that's what I want to be when I grow up. Now, I haven't grown up yet at all, but I'm still doing that. But you know, and if Marjorie, you raise your hand, that aha moment, that moment is what I do it for. When people, you can see it in their heads, go, I get it, you know. So.
Yeah, Ken, I really think with COVID right now and everybody being online, there's a lot of opportunity for you to host some Zoom things. And
yes, please invite me. I've done a Christmas in July, so everybody wore their Christmas sweaters, and so we went around and told us stories about the sweaters, and we talked about our weirdest Christmas gifts, and it's so much fun to get out of this mess called COVID and to learn a little bit more about each other. I mean, that's what team building is really all about. It's all about learning about each other and learning that we have things in common, more in common than people think they don't, you know? So absolutely. I do everything I can to try to like set that plate as a facilitator. I'm not a teacher, I'm not a lecturer. I'm just basically setting that plate so people can have fun.
Laura Anderson, good morning. Laura's going to be on the show next week.
Hi, Laura, Jersey in the house. South or north, Laura? North or south? Giants or Eagles?
On the type here. She has been on air with WTKS and other radio stations for a really long time, and she just started her own voiceover company. So we're going to learn about that next week. So anyhow, hold on a second. She'll answer in a second. So anyhow. All right, Ken. Well, so now we have Ken. Now I want to talk to Kenneth. And what did you say that name meant, Ken? Kenneth.
My mom says it means handsome, and I pretty much think she's watching right now. Hi, Mom.
Oh. So handsome Kenneth Martin. I met Kenneth years ago when Kenneth had an art show at Cutter's Point Coffee in Sandfly, and I fell in love with his portraits. And I've just been following his work ever since. And Kenneth, tell us about your new commission. I guess it's a commission, right?
Well, a little background. I started off as your typical studio artist, and about 45 years ago, after a car accident, then I got involved about 8 years ago with veterans. So I was working, and someone said, "Ken, why don't you have a 6-week program teaching veterans artwork?" Well, I said, "Okay, 6 weeks." And I got there, and the veterans they didn't see how art connected with Vietnam, storm and war and killing and coming back. So that was a challenge. So after I showed them the fundamentals of art, after 6 weeks, they didn't want to leave. They got connected.
Art therapy. Yeah, art therapy.
Well, they don't consider therapy. They don't like that word.
Oh, okay.
And I said, So we got hooked up with Jefferson Museum about 4 years.
Nice.
So that's how I got involved with art. And now I'm in filmmaking. I met a filmmaker who wanna go into history. So yes, that's
So let me show you some of Kenneth, let me show you. I've got some. Hold on a second. Let me pull this on screen here. Hold on. Kenneth's portraits are just spectacular. Look at this one. Ken,
That's beautiful.
Ken,
yeah. That's
tell us about this one.
that's called The Provider. And I was motivated by my mom. I realized on the head might be a pot, but it's not food, it's substance. And what I realized in my life, women in my family are given more than your typical education, inspiration, passion. So that's what she's carrying. She's not carrying natural food, she's carrying other things. I was listening to some of the moms on here, how they're encouraging their children when they're traveling. That's substance. That gives more energy and character building than your food. So that's called The Provider.
That's beautiful.
And I did it in 07. Yeah. And so anyway, I like capturing concepts. That's Leesdorf. He was a slave in 1860-ish, but he kept the slaves now. And so he's the first African American millionaire. And he moved to California, I believe, somewhere, and started building schools. But Leesdorf, I like his passion and his dauntless and his intestinal fortitude. That inspires me. People who have that never give up kind of thing, in spite of circumstances, in spite of the status quo. You got to do what you have to do, especially with this COVID. You can't just sit around and wish something will go away. It might never go away. So if it don't, what you gonna do? Sit around and complain and whine? No. So persons like Leesdorf and other people in my culture have had a major contribution to America. So Leesdorf, and I like taking the unknown. Everyone know about W.E. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, but other major persons who have struggled with obstacles. I love obstacles. I learned obstacles being in a wheelchair. I was in an accident in 22, walking around, don't want to do it at Ford Motor Company. But after my accident, I went through a year of rehab. So I had to learn how to not deal with quote unquote wheelchair or what society thought about me. I had to regroup and adjust. And I'm listening to the other people here about how they're traveling and so forth, exposure and not staying in the same condition or the status. You have to look up to the future. That's why I'm a visual artist, but I'm working now with a young filmmaker how to make those persons come to life in film. But painting is limited. But I want to say more about intestinal fortitude, being boundless in spite of circumstances. That's my passion.
And Kenneth, when I met you and your wife Teresa, I just fell in love with the both of you. Your fortitude of what you've overcome from that accident is just it's so inspirational. And you've learned a trade of this. I'm a real art snob, and your portraits are exquisite. They are absolutely exquisite. And I'm just so honored that you took the time out, because I know you're getting ready for a huge commission film thing going on.
Yeah, what's new is like, this gonna be like a 8-9 month project. Because again, I'm not a filmmaker, but I have a passion for education. And so I'm connecting with like a mentor. I know my art, I know that, but I'm not familiar with documentaries and so forth. That's what I want to say. I want to say, and putting that together is my challenge. I have to know working with a mentor who know about filmmaking, and I know what I want to say with my art, but a picture just says certain things. So anyway, that's a work in progress. That's
Yeah.
an 8-9 month project. Hopefully, this time next year, I'll be dealing with persons who want to educate America about Americans in spite of culture, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And your wife, Teresa, who I know is right around the corner with you.
Yes, yes, Teresa.
Teresa.
Yes, my wife. My wife is I don't tell her this, but she might get the big head. But she's she's an inspiration to me.
Hey, Teresa. I just
Hi.
Hi, Teresa. Teresa got her master's at 70 years old. She did. I was so proud of that. And she is an artist in her own right. She does a lot of textiles. Do you have anything you can grab real fast to show us?
Yes, I will. Hold on.
My wife, again, we met. We've been married over 50 years, and we've been tolerating one another for 50 years in love. But I love her enthusiasm and her passion. When I get down, as far as okay, Ken, you're not doing anything to do. She is such an upbeat person. I'm so like low key. Yeah, I'm low. That's me, low key. But she is not low key. She loves everyone she sees. She talks to people. She loves interacting. I'm not that kind of person. I want to take. I'm like behind the scenes kind of person. But yeah, she loves doll making, and she's going to school now. She started college. She got two master's degrees and a bachelor's degree at Armstrong in the last 5 years.
Oh, I love it. That is so awesome.
Yes. So
all right. I love doing dolls by doing indigo dyeing, and I love putting symbolism in my dolls. Excuse me,
I can.
I thought it was just going to be for him. So
Yeah, but show. Oh, it's great. Oh, it's great. Show us your dolls.
So this is what I do. This is one of them. I better over back.
There we go.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Wow.
Impressive.
What you see in her clothing is an adinkra sign. Those adinkras, there's a lot of adinkra signs that make the symbolisms. And these adinkras are from the Ghana symbols. And I just have a whole list here of, you can't see that, but I have a whole list here of what adinkras mean. There's many symbolisms, like, for character qualities. There's such as friendship, independence, love, humility, strength, beauty, and all of those. It's just lots and lots of symbolism with the dolls in it.
Put within the dolls. Can you show us like the symbolism for happiness?
That's up of there is, I think that one means reconciliation. And so
Absolutely beautiful.
have that. I have a friend that just that particular word meant something to her about reconciliation. So this particular doll,
Beautiful.
Indigo dyed her again with indigo blue dyeing process, and I screen printed the symbols on her. That little circular one means wisdom, and then I just have wonderful. I love making them.
And that dyeing process is, I mean, that I have a neighbor that grew whatever that plant is that comes from, and that indigo dyeing process, that's quite extensive to get that color.
It is. It is. You have to. I don't know how to get on the movie here. Okay. Now, I couldn't. I couldn't begin to explain it on this format but it's from Africa, and they started and they had large pits in Africa, and they pick the plant at a particular time, and then they make it into a paste, and then they dip it in your hands. Everything turns blue. It's in South Carolina. It was a major crop other than the other crops that slaves cultivated. And the young lady there, I'll have to remember her name, but her father went away. He traveled and he sent her seeds back from Africa, and she started it growing in South Carolina, and it made South Carolinians very rich. And it was known as the color that seduced the world. And it was just a wonderful, it's a beautiful color. Of course, people know the color, but I love the history. I feel the saddest part about it, but yet in the slavery time, it was used as there's a particular portion of making the dye that is very toxic, and if many slaves lived no longer than 7 years after we were thrown into this process. And so it was just very, but it's no longer a toxic process. They have chemicalized it, and it's really easy to make now. But it still takes time, and you tie it and wrap it, and I'm trying to explain something that takes a long time.
And the dolls are beautiful. The dolls are absolutely exquisite.
They are. Where can folks find out how to buy the dolls? Do you have a website? When is the show for Kenneth?
Yes, we do. The website is kennethmartinart.com. But this thing is tripping me out.
Also, we're working with Jefferson Museum, and I have a showing at the International Trade Center across the water at the
Convention Center.
At the Convention Center.
But at the Convention Center. But no, let me finish the dolls first. So I can get back over here. Okay. So the dolls are on kennethmartinart.com. And so his art is there, and my dolls are there. My dolls are under My Sister, MASISTAH, My Sister Dolls. And if you wanted to just easily see what I do, you just Google. It surprised me one day. I just simply Googled MASISTAH dolls, all one word. And I looked, and just my whole collection of dolls just popped up first thing. So I said, I didn't know that. Anyway, it was a good feeling to see that, you get at the top of the Google deal, whatever. So they're all there. They're all there. And then it tells you the website to go to. So.
You know what's so wonderful? There are so many comments. People are loving your art. I mean, they're just, I don't know if you can see all this. I mean, look at this. I mean, You guys are great.
People are saying that.
Right now, yes, they are. They
That's
are.
Trending.
Really? Who says people? Oh, God.
Dude, my wife, she's
I'm looking at your website, Kenneth, and this week actually there's we have all these wonderful women on our platform today, but this week the newspaper, the USA Today, is naming women from all 50 states who were just exceptional around the country. And I'm looking at your art, and you have one here for Bessie Coleman, which
Oh
I guess
my God, yes.
who was an aviator.
Now.
yes,
It's beautiful.
yeah, Bessie. Like I've said
Let's see,
before,
go right there.
I'm what motivates me are people, and how people can go through tragedies and still make a good life for themselves. I believe you learn, and I learned the hard way. And being in the wheelchair has taught me the more of appreciating people, and that's what I'm not a portraitist person. I try to capture attitude and temperament and strength and wisdom. That's why I'm going to the next level, getting into filmmaking and learning about how to document persons, where we can educate people on how people get through tragedies, if that makes sense.
Oh God, that's really beautiful. How can we follow your progress? Would it be on your website?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Like I'm saying, this is the beginning stages. I talked with a filmmaker yesterday, and she's a young filmmaker, but I love her passion. So she is really mentoring me on how to transform the visual arts into a journalist kind of film. So we will do a pilot of get a chance, look up Maria Stewart. She's a great person, 1830, but she's a writer, an activist, feminist, what else? Everything. And Maria Stewart quotes. You'll be impressed with how current she is, words were then to now. So I'm trying to combine the past to the present to make it relevant. But anyway, that's me.
Did you paint a picture of her as
Yeah.
part of
Where she is, Teresa. Here she is right here. And I see back then in 1830, they didn't have no photo shoots. So it gave me the freedom to my own imagination. So that's
Oh my goodness. Oh,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a work in progress. So again, I really want to market her, not just her. We need inspiration.
What's that word you're going to use?
Dauntless,
Dauntless,
unstoppable, determined, and we pull from people. Even listen to what y'all are saying about yourself. I'm learning. So okay, I like the lady who talking about traveling and teaching kids a global perspective.
Yes,
And you teach them by exposing them to go around the city and see other cultures. We learn from cultures. We learn from cultures, not just our own little neighborhood. So that's anyway. That's it.
oh my goodness. What a treat we've had this morning with your artwork, guys. It just, and I hope you realize how much the community loves your work. They really,
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I've
Thank
never
you.
seen
Thank
anything like that before.
Thank you. All right.
Kenneth, when you purchase one of your paintings, does it come with a written story?
Yes, it's a written story, but I'm trying to elevate it. It's a long term to filmmaking. It comes just with a written story, but in the future, I would like to have in the museum a painting and a little visual bio of the person. But I love to educate people. We learn that exposure and educate out of our own little box, our own little culture. We learn about that. We're not just
Kenneth, I feel the same exact way. I mean, that's part of my goal. And I think I've realized in the last few months that as much as I want to get my kids outside of their bubble and see the world and other cultures, there's some cultures in my own backyard that I want them to understand better as well. And so that's a really big goal of mine. I've been trying to do more reading and, to expose them to all cultures, even the ones here in the United States that is not our own. So I feel like you and I have a very similar goal in that respect.
Yes, and we as parents have a major challenge to develop young people to adults with maturity. That's especially with this toxic world we live in. We have to really, at home, start there first.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, come over to Hilton Head to Freedom Park, which is amazing. Kenneth, you know about Freedom Park, I'm sure, right? On the north end.
No, I don't.
So it's where Mitchellville. It's the first place that their slaves were free in the United States, here on Hilton.
Okay, yeah.
Park. It's beautiful. It's a part of the island that you don't it doesn't look like Hilton Head.
See, that's why I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I came out in 2007. I'm a northerner, I'm a Yankee, as they say. But I'm impressed with the richness of the history here in Savannah, Hilton Head. I love history. I just love history.
Come on over. I'll show you. I'll take you over there. It's beautiful. DeFusky's also got amazing amount of history.
That would make my heart so happy, Ken.
Yes.
Come on over, everyone. We'll go for a beach trip.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, that sounds.
But it's called Freedom Park. It's the town. It's beautiful, they've got reconstruction of slave quarters, and it's just the neatest place.
Yeah,
you can feel it in your heart when you go in there.
I will get in touch with you seriously.
Yes, please.
Yeah, people have
each other's emails when I send out the.
Yes, ma'am. We sure will. We sure will.
That's a hidden gem on Hilton Head that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
Jen, can we meet your kids?
Oh, sure. They're trying to get on the camera now. Can you put your shirt back on before you come on the camera? Connor, come here.
I saw Jen going. I know that mama look.
Come here. They want to see you guys.
We want to meet you guys. You guys are famous. Hey guys.
There's one. Here, you can.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Connor.
I don't know if they can actually, because I'm on the microphone. So this is Connor, and this is Bryson. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Where's the most favorite place you've ever traveled to, Connor?
Okay, where's the most famous? Here, I'm going to take off that. Well, no, I'm not, because they might not hear us well. What is your most favorite place you've ever been? That you've traveled to in all the places Thailand, yeah. Greece, Italy. Hawaii. Okay, that's 4 of the 10 countries. So, oh no, Hawaii's not a country. Never mind.
You can drive there?
No, you can't drive there. Remember,
No,
it's a
not
big
a
island.
country.
Well, not all countries are. You can drive to different places that. Like you can drive to Canada, but it's still a different country.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you guys want to be when you grow up?
And what do you want to? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Scientist.
Artist. He wants to be like an author, illustrator, like Mo Willems that writes the Piggy and Gerald books, and Connor wants to be a scientist.
Awesome. But if you guys get out. Jen, if you get out to Albuquerque, New Mexico, they have the Nuclear Science Museum out there.
Well, New Mexico's shut right now to tourists, so unfortunately, I really want to see New Mexico. I want to see
I don't want to go to the Gulf of Mexico.
Not the Gulf of Mexico. He's worried about hurricanes.
No, not hurricanes. The blue ring octopuses.
Oh, blue ring octopuses. Okay. Well, so.
Old and didn't know about this. Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, they've been really into National Geographic books this summer. That's about the best schooling I did with them this summer, but it's part of the inspiration for us wanting to see Yellowstone while it was our, basically our only option was domestic because we're not comfortable flying yet. And so therefore, that's why I'm not really trying to sell travel right now because everyone has a different comfort level, but for us, we're just not ready to fly. We're pretty good about social distancing and all of that. So, okay, stop. Sorry. So, yeah, so driving was our best option to still be able to explore this year. So that's why we decided on it.
Connor, thank you so much for coming on. Definitely. Thanks for saying hi. And I know you got to probably get back to your schoolwork, and we probably need to log off because we've been on for a whole hour just sitting around the water cooler.
Wow.
We need to hear from Kat. We need to hear. We need to hear from Kat. We haven't heard from Kat. Yeah.
You haven't heard from me.
How are things at the pool, Kat?
Things at the pool. Ay, Dios mío.
Ask her that question. We got another hour.
Never mind.
No, you know what though? Quickly, we had it's in community headlines. You know, we work with a lot of different businesses here in the communities, and one of our partners, Market, they had actually a big deal over the weekend with their. Let me see if I can find it again. They partnered and they've done some cool stuff. If you look in our newsletter, there's some really great things about Market. And then I was off to the side in the Savannah Morning News this morning. You know, there's a good feature. I just mentioned USA Today is doing this big thing on women and women who've been successful in their fields throughout the country, and they're featuring 10 women from each state. In a you know, kind of a long, broad a format. But the Savannah Morning News actually has a great feature this morning in the paper about women here locally, like historic women who have been successful, women who have brought things not only to our city and our state, but to the world. So if you can get online this morning and check that out. It's a pretty good article.
Lots of good stuff. We probably need to end it because we're going to be heading over. I got to go to Rotary. I get to go to Rotary. Anyhow, all right, y'all keep
it yellow. It looks very fabulous. Not a lot of people wear yellow, so.
Well, I've been told not to wear it, but my daddy loved the color, so I'm just with my dad all day.
You can absolutely pull it off.
And Ken, I'll be in touch with you.
Great.
Thank you to
Thank you,
everybody.
Marjorie. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
I'm